Good evening. I will call to order the Finance Committee meeting on June 15th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. We have two items on the agenda this evening. We have a creation of the Lizotte Drive stabilization account and transfer request. We also have a proposed non-union salary ordinance for 4 positions. I'll begin with order number 26-100-9765, creation of the Lizotte Drive stabilization account and a transfer request in the amount of $200,000. I'll begin by reading the letter submitted by the mayor. Dear Council President Ossing and councilors, enclosed for your review and approval, 3 transfer requests and an order establishing the creation of Lizotte Drive stabilization account. The first transfer request is in the amount of $50,000 from free cash to be moved into the fire station stabilization fund. The second and third transfer requests are in the amount of $50,000 and $100,000 from free cash to be moved into an established Lizotte Drive stabilization account. These requests are in response to the monies which were given to the city as part of the conditions relating to special permit number 25-100-9483E. Please do not hesitate to contact me or my office with any questions. Sincerely, J. Christian Dumas, Mayor. And thank you, Mr. Mayor, for sending that down. I also want to thank Urban. I know Council Ficillo, Council Ossing was part of that, getting that mitigation as well. So that was really nice to have that into the in front of the councils to make that decision. I'll open that up to the finance team for any questions or comments.
Mr. Chair.
Council Ficillo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No questions. Appreciated the conversation we had in Urban Affairs to secure this funding. And so I'm going to take these up in a handful of votes here.
Yes, Council.
Okay, so I'll start to move to approve the $50,000 transfer from free cash to the fire station stabilization fund.
Very good. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the $50,000 transfer request into the fire station stabilization account. Any further questions? Seeing none, all in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That carries. Next, I'll be looking to entertain a motion for the creation of Lizotte. Council Ficillo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Move to approve the creation of the Lizotte Drive stabilization account.
Motion's been made, and I will second that to approve the creation of the Lizotte Drive stabilization account. Any further questions? Seeing none, all in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That carries. And then we have one more to entertain a motion for the other $150,000.
Mr. Chair.
Council Ficillo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Move to approve the $50,000 and $100,000 transfer from free cash to the newly established Lizotte Drive stabilization account.
Motion is made, and I will second that to approve the transfer request in the amount of $150,000 and $50,000 into the newly created Lizotte Drive stabilization account. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That carries. Thank you, Councilor. Moving on to the next item on the agenda is order number 26-100-9765. I'm sorry, 100-9697D is attached salary ordinance for the following positions: City Collector, Assistant Finance Director, City Collector, Recreation Director starting at step 4, and Assistant Recreation Director. And I'll just briefly read the brief letter from the Mayor. Dear Council President Ossing and Councilors, per your request at the Finance Committee meeting on Monday, June 1st, attached, please find an updated annualized 7-step salary ordinance for non-union employees. Sincerely, J. Christian Dumas, Mayor. And again, thank you, Mr. Mayor, for sending that down to us in a quick manner. That was very nice. I also want to reiterate that this discussion will only be for these 4 positions, which I know in the last meeting that we had, we obviously all supported the Recreation Director and the Assistant Director, and we wanted to get that through. With that said, I will open it up for any comments.
Motion to approve for discussion.
Okay. And the motion...
So what does that mean?
To approve these 4, if I may, Mr. Chair, through you to the Councilor Ossing, because I knew that's why I made the motion for discussion. and I will be glad to discuss it.
So what we would be looking for.
Point of-
Go ahead.
Mr. President.
So this is before us for discussion right now. You either make a motion to do something, you don't make a motion to discuss. The item is before the Finance Committee to discuss. Once you're done discussing, then you make a motion to do something.
You can do it either way, Ms. Counselor. I've seen it done both ways. I don't see where the big problem is there. I've seen motions for discussion. I've seen motions after discussion. It doesn't matter. If you want to prove to me it's different in Robert's rules, feel free to do it, but I've been around a long time, and I've seen it done both ways.
So
But back to you, Mr. Chair.
Is that your motion for discussion?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motions are made and seconded to approve for discussion. Any further discussion? Council Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to be clear. So there's a motion to have discussion on this item. It is not a motion to approve what's in front of us, correct?
That is
Mr.
correct.
Chair, my motion was to approve and for discussion. If
Oh, I
I didn't say
apologize.
to approve, I apologize.
Okay, all right. I apologize.
And again, it's a motion. It's not saying, it's just giving indication I would like to have
And
discussion.
I'll just give you just a little bit of where I'm coming from, too, because
Sure.
we did have a lengthy discussion on these positions. What we would first have to do, if we decided on this, is we'd have to refer it to the city solicitor, put it in legal form. Then down the road, we'd have to vote on it as a council, and then we still would have to advertise it. So I don't know if we want to take that time of doing that when we can have an open discussion with it quickly, and we can just have an open dialogue on this, and you can make a motion to, at that point, send it to legal if that's what we approve on.
And advertise.
It wouldn't be, advertised would be at a later time.
Yep.
Mr. President?
Point of information. So again, you need to discuss the item before you can make, well, you don't have to, but to make a motion to approve something, you don't know what you just said you're approving. So I disagree with the concept. Discuss what's in front of the city council, of the finance committee right now. The four salary, do you agree with the starting rates? Do you agree with the 7-step process? Do you agree with the start time or the effective date of the ordinance? Go look at it. If everybody's good with it, then your motion would be appropriate. But no one's looked at anything yet, so how can you make a motion to say, we're good to go? It doesn't compute from what I've learned on my years on the council.
Council Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I do echo the sentiment here from President Ossing. I would much prefer that we have a conversation about this and then eventually move to send these to the solicitor to have them put in proper legal form so they can come back to the council so we can take a look. I mean, I know we have a hearty discussion ahead of us about these 4 positions, and so, I'd be happy to kind of get into that. But I don't think I'd be in favor of moving to approve anything yet.
Yep.
Before we have that conversation.
Thank you, Council Fitzgerald.
Thank
So the
you.
motion has been seconded. I will take a vote. Motion's been made, seconded by Council Vital. All in favor to have a discussion?
We can vote on that, but I don't think.
1, 2, that does, that,
To have the
That-
discussion, because his motion was to approve and to have a discussion.
We're not approving, it's just for discussion. Motion to approve and discuss, and then at the end, I would ask that the final vote be taken. I don't disagree, I don't want to jump to the approval, but I want to see discussion.
and that was the motion, and I'll take the vote again. All in favor to have the motion for discussion and to approve? All in favor? 1, that does not carry.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll start at another step. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
That's fine. So yes, so for the finance team, as President Ossing has mentioned that in our notes here, there is all the individual steps for each one of the city collector, recreation director, assistant recreation director. I also want to point out, if you read it, if we do approve this would be for 40 hours per week, and the effective date of the salary ordinance shall be August 1st, 2026. This ordinance shall supersede and replace any existing rate for said positions, if applicable, and in the current salary schedule. So, President Ossing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, councilors, what I did was, the mayor sent down in his June 4th, he did what the finance committee asked, which is 7-step for all 30 positions, all right? In his March letter, the priority is for 4 positions: the collector, Collector Assistant Finance Director, Assistant Recreation Director, and the Recreation Director. Those were the 4 priorities. So what I did was I extracted what was on here to the last page of the finance agenda, just a one-page draft salary ordinance. This is Mike Ossing's salary ordinance, not solicitor approved, not anything. But this is what I would recommend, if the council agrees with the steps and the 4 positions, that this gets referred to the city solicitor, and I'm sure he can turn it around to have on our Monday agenda if the mayor thinks is of high enough priority, because it has to come back to us in order to advertise, and then if we advertise, then we can vote. So we'd be able to vote on a July 22nd-ish meeting. All right, so if the council agrees that they like the 4 positions, they like the 4 steps, 40 hours per week, effective date 8/1, this is what you'd be voting on, which then you can make that motion, Council Orm, and I'd be tickled pink with that one, to approve this, to send it to the solicitor to put in proper format for us to advertise and then vote. Because we can't approve anything right now. Nothing's been advertised. All right? But you got to figure out what is it that you want to do. And the mayor's asked for 4 positions. These are the 4. I did the homework. Otherwise, you're going to try to find them on the 7-step, on the June 4th memo, or letter on the council, and you'll be trying to extract them, and you'll struggle like I did, which is why I came up with a one-page, easy one that says, these are the 4 spots.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome.
Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair, so we have attached to the Finance Committee meeting, I believe what Council Ossing just mentioned, that first page.
That's correct.
That is, okay, I didn't know that was authored by Council Ossing, so with that noted, we also we received the deltas on a 15-step versus 7-step. I don't know if everyone received that from the mayor, but
Yes.
I do have that. I had it open a minute ago, but I was looking for something. And I think as we progress, I know we're only discussing 4 positions, and I don't want to in any way hinder the opportunity to have an attractive salary schedule. As noted before, my main concern is that we look at our employees and treat them the way you would expect to treat an employee working for a city this size. With that said, I know we don't need to debate that, but we debated it enough at the last meeting. I do still prefer the 15-step. I think that gives an employee some future view of where they're going, and it holds employees in my view. But I will, again, agree to the 7-step at this time, and hopefully we'll have further discussion down the road as it relates to the budget and the 15-step and how that relates to the retention of employees.
And again, as Councilor Fitzgerald had mentioned at the Finance Committee a couple weeks ago, we supported these positions, and who knows if it came to the full council with the other 15 steps, it may have not carried.
Or it could have carried. You
right.
don't know. You know.
So this is a good way to at least get these 4 positions. Council Vital.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make the motion to send this last page, along with the notes at the bottom, the 40 hours per week and starting on August 1st, send this to the solicitor for proper format and to advertise.
I don't think we want to, do we want to advertise just yet? Probably not. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, so you
Thank you,
can't
Mr.
advertise yet,
We
because it's
don't
got to
have-
come back in proper format.
Make the motion to send it to the solicitor to put it in proper format.
Thank you. Motion's been made, and I will second that for order number 26-100-9697D to refer to the city solicitor to put in legal form. Any further discussion? Council Roby.
Thank you. Sorry, I got here late. I had my times mixed up. On the agenda for the order, it has that the Recreation Director starts at step 4. There's nothing on the order that indicates that. Should that be there?
I think the others are just not.
Thought it was, Council,
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr. Chair.
President.
So we can put it on there if you want, Council Roby. Otherwise, I thought when it came back, we would just add that and say we want the recreation director to start at step 4. But if you want, that doesn't have to be a salary ordinance, that's just like any time the mayor wants to come down and adjust the starting step, we just agree to say, we approve this and we're gonna start it, because the comptroller may come back and say, hey, the new finance dude, we need him to start at step something greater than 1. And that's not a salary ordinance change, that's just a acknowledgement by the council that we say, okay, we're gonna pay additional funds to start whatever the individual's at.
All right, because on the order that has all of the positions listed in it, it does have a chart listing where people start,
Yep.
and it's part of the order. So, and I've seen past orders where it's specified if we're listing existing people, but we're bumping them up. So I just if the plan is to really have the recreation director start at step 4, I suppose it'll have to be a budget adjustment anyway, so I don't know if
Yes.
that would impact it, but.
That's a good point, Counselor. Yeah. So motion's been made and seconded to refer this to the city solicitor. Any further discussion? All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That carries. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chair?
Counselor Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Move to adjourn.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are adjourned at 6:46 PM. Thank you, Council.
To call to order. It's a Public Safety Committee. It is 6:50 p.m. We have one item on the agenda tonight. It's order number 26-100-9773, a City Council resolution in support of a nicotine-free generation policy. And I'll read this very quickly, as quick as I can. That the resolution in support of the nicotine-free generation policy be and is herewith referred to the Public Safety Committee. Resolution in support of the nicotine-free generation policy, whereas the City of Marlborough recognizes that nicotine addiction remains one of the leading preventable causes of illness, disease, and premature death in the United States. And whereas the use of cigarettes, cigars, smokeless tobacco, vaping products, nicotine pouches, and other nicotine delivery systems have contributed to increased rates of cancer, heart disease, respiratory illness, substance dependency, and youth addiction. And whereas the city acknowledges the growing public health concerns associated with youth, vaping, and nicotine use, particularly among adolescents and young adults. And whereas nicotine products are intentionally designed to create dependency and addiction, often beginning before adulthood. And whereas communities across the nation are exploring innovative public health strategies to prevent future generations from becoming addicted to nicotine products. And whereas the City of Marlborough desires to promote healthier lifestyles, reduce long-term healthcare costs, improve public wellness, and protect future generations from nicotine addiction. Now, therefore, it is resolved that the City Council of Marlborough supports this creation of a phased nicotine-free generation policy designed to gradually eliminate the legal sale of nicotine and tobacco products to future generations of residents. Be it further resolved that any individual born on or after January 1st, 2010 shall permanently be prohibited from purchasing nicotine or tobacco products within the City of Marlborough, once enabling ordinances and regulations are adopted. That this policy shall apply to all nicotine-containing products, including but not limited to cigarettes, cigars, vape products, and electronic nicotine delivery systems, smokeless tobacco, nicotine pouches, and synthetic nicotine products. That the city shall implement the policy gradually in order to educate residents and retailers, provide smoking cessation resources, reduce youth nicotine addiction, support public health initiatives. That the city encourages partnerships with local schools, healthcare providers, addiction recovery organizations, and community groups to educate residents about the dangers of nicotine addiction and to promote prevention and recovery services. That the city supports the expansion of smoking cessation programs, counseling services, and recovery support opportunities for residents seeking to overcome nicotine addiction. That the city clerk shall forward copies of this resolution to the Massachusetts Department of Public Health, legal legislative representatives, the Marlborough Board of Health, and other appropriate agencies for review and considerations. Be it further resolved that this resolution represents the city's commitment to safeguarding the health and well-being of future generations and creating a healthier future for youth of Marlborough. Along with that resolution submitted by Councilor Vital. Along with that resolution was a letter of support from the Director of Public Health here in Marlborough, Paul Dinwiddle, who I'm not going to read his entire, but he's very much in favor of this resolution. And then also a student over at the Advanced Math and Science Academy, she is the president of a club called the 84 Movement, which is a state initiative to the public schools trying to eliminate nicotine in all forms. And so she sent a letter of support as well. I would entertain a motion to accept the resolution.
So moved.
Not on the committee.
Oh, I thought you wanted to accept a motion.
Yes, Councilor.
I move to accept the resolution.
Thank you. The resolution, a motion to accept the resolution has been seconded. All those in favor?
Can we have
Discussion? May we have discussion first? Yes, Councilor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Admirable for what this does bring as a resolution. I am not in support of the resolution. And the biggest reason for me is I still believe it's an intrusion on adults' ability to exercise personal responsibility and individual liberty. And even though I am fully aware that I know that cigarette smoke is a carcinogen, I just do not believe that it is our position to have this resolution. But that is certainly my opinion. I'll Leave it at that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Roby?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I also have the same concerns, but I also am curious, and I did not talk to the solicitor, but I'm not sure what a resolution like this actually does. I could see if the Board of Health had a policy which they could then enforce, or the city council had an ordinance which could then be enforced, that would be different. So I wasn't sure if your idea was to be in support of the Board of Health having a policy, which it doesn't sound like they have talked about in detail. I know they're working on a body people policy. So exactly what do you think this, if this gets approved, and I say if, it only takes 6 votes, and I've been surprised on resolutions, exactly how will it get enforced? Because there's no law with it.
Very good. Would you like to comment?
Well,
Councilor
if I may, first of all, I would like to apologize. I'm not on your committee, so I realize, I said, what am I doing? Anyways, I would like to comment on that, and I see this as a resolution. I think the most important part that's in here is the fact that it's getting referred to the local Marlborough Board of Health, and I agree that this resolution, I'm in favor of it. As you know, I motioned without even being on the committee, but I'm in favor of this, and this is just not Marlborough that's doing this. There's 25 communities right now that have done it, including the city of Newton. But I see the need. I understand trying to change things is difficult. Tobacco has always been a difficult area for change. But in the respect of what's being sold here, I find tobacco as a poison. And it can poison our children. And if we start looking at changing when, or not when, but when someone turns a certain age, it should be noted that we're really not doing the best for our community. But I would, because this resolution, I believe, doesn't really create any legislation, I agree that it should be passed by the Marlborough Board of Health for their decision and regulations. With that said, thank you, Mr. Chair, and sorry I interrupted on a motion.
That's quite okay, Councilor Oram. Councilor Roby, before I mention what my intent is, excuse me, Councilor Ossing.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'll just remind councilors, and you've kind of touched on it, a resolution is just the expression of an opinion, present an intent or conclusion of a legislative determined fact. So there's no teeth. This is just, I want to paint the sky green. Okay, we can pass a resolution to say that, right? So that's all this does. It doesn't commit us to anything. It just says the council's on board. Councilor Roby and Councilor Orm are correct. The Board of Health needs to take some act, just like we banned Kraken or Creighton. They got to pass an ordinance or a rule that says we're going to enforce this. The Board of Health took it up in 2024. There was some pushback. It didn't go anywhere. This would, I would assume, since if the council passes it, we'll give them a little more meat to go put something together. But again, you started, this one says 2010, so that means in 5 years, 2031 would be when we start impacting people, all right? Because you got to be 21 years old to buy cigarettes. I don't know what the rules are for vaping, but I know it's 21 for cigarettes. So in 21 years, so 2031 would be when these take effect. But when the Board of Health puts together their policy like they're doing for body piercing, Councilor Roby, they got to have a public hearing, because you're going to get folks that sell tobacco products that aren't going to be excited about it, and those that don't like tobacco products, and they'll hear both sides and they'll come up with a position. But right now, this is just, you feel good, you say, if you like it, you say, okay, we're going to support it. But it commits the city to nothing at this point. I don't know if that helps Councilor Roby or not.
Well, no, I guess If the Board of Health actually proposes a policy, and we know the language of the policy, then having a resolution in support of that, to me, would be the way to go. This is putting the cart before the horse. You've got a whole bunch of language in here that you have no idea if will even be in their policy. I mean, it probably will be, but we don't know for sure. So why don't you wait for them? It sounds like they want to have a policy. We have Mr. Dunwoody's letter asking us to support it, but there's no verbiage, there's no order from the Board of Health to have the language written up, to have the public hearing that's required, and the ability for us to know where the city, if we care, where the residents of the city stand or not. I mean, bring it back when an order's.
I'll share my intent as soon as I just bring out, I just recently, as you did, Councilor Roby, I did an awful lot of research on this and what other towns have done and so forth. And then to address the issue of those libertarians out there, it's not just allowing them to do their own thing. In Massachusetts, cigarette smoking alone is estimated to cost more than $4.5 and $4.7 billion in direct health care costs every year, with approximately $1.5 billion of those costs paid through Mass Health or Medicare, which basically means that we all are paying for those deaths or those health concerns. Speaking of deaths, last year, approximately 9,300 Mass residents died from smoking-related diseases. So my intent here was for this body to say that this is a health concern. It's been a health concern for decades, and we want to take a stronger position and send it back. You're absolutely right. It has to go down to the Department of Health. Send it down to the Department of Health with our best wishes and our support, even though it's not green in the sky. It still carries some leverage, I guess, when they're trying to put their policy together. They'll know how we feel. So I had a motion to accept the resolution. The chair seconds it. All those in favor? Opposed? The vote's 2-1. Entertain a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
The Public Safety Committee is adjourned at 7:02. Thank you, everyone.
Vote.
Oh, this is my first public safety guy, so be cautious on me. It's unanimous. Adjourned.